Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today I thought we'd have a look at this. Now this is the first time this has really happened to me. Someone contacted me through YouTube, one of my subscribers, and said they had a radio, would I like it. They did stipulate that would I not please mention their name or their username. So like I said, let's just say it's from an anonymous donator. And basically he picked, at least I presume it's a he picked this, oh right, they picked this up at a car boot sale and took it home. They'd never worked on a vintage radio before, and they just took it, like the look of it. Unfortunately their other half didn't, and basically relegated it to their games room, their little man cave or woman cave. And they did have a go at getting it going, and apparently it's had some capacitors replaced in it, but then it was given up on, and an ultimatum was given that either you find it at home or the other half was going to find it in the bin. So they offered it to me, and I didn't actually know what I was getting. All I knew it was an old radio. So I didn't even know whether it was going to be a little portable or a great big. Well, they even paid the delivery on it. So I mean, you can't say fairer than that. Literally, thank you. You know who you are. Like I said, thank you ever so much for this, because it really is right up my street. This. What we've got is I'm probably going to absolutely murder the pronunciation of this, but RETRA or RETRA or something like that. It's a little table radio made in Yugoslavia. Now, when this was made, Yugoslavia was still part of the former Soviet Union. So basically, we've got another piece of Eastern Bloc technology here, and it probably dates from the very, very, very late 1960s, more than likely, possibly early 1970s. And these were sold in the UK. Little sets like this tend to be sold through like little independent radio and TV shops, and some of the catalogue shops used to sell radio sets like this. And for, like I said, a very, very late 1960s, probably early 1970s set, it's actually a valve set, which is really quite unusual, because just about everything made over here, made in Japan, by that time was fully transistorized. As where I think this is all valve. It could have some. I've not even opened it up yet. Literally, this is exactly how I've just pulled it out of its box, and I must say it is in absolutely beautiful condition. Really. A couple of very minor little marks and scratches. I don't know if you can really pick them out. A few very tiny little minor marks and scratches on it there, and that is literally about it. The case is really, really nice. It is faulty. I have plugged it in and tried it. It does sort of work, but we've definitely got some faults in it which are going to need a little bit of investigation and looking in. In fact, I'll power it up now and I'll show you what it's actually doing at the moment. Now let's just oh, I've got to show you the plug as well. Check this out. Now, safety plugs. Let me see if I've got something around here that's got a safety plug on it. Just so I can show you the I've never come across one of these before. Not quite like this anyway. Just oh, well, here's a charger that I'll show you. Basically, safety plug is like this. If you look, you've got your 3 pins. If you look at the live and the neutral, if you look, it's only actually the little tip there is your conductor. The bit down there is plastic. And now, supposedly, I can't honestly see how this happens, but supposedly the whole reason behind this was that so people didn't try and plug a plug in like that. Now, quite frankly, how you could manage to plug a plug in like that and get a shock, God only knows. Literally, you'd have to kind of like get your little fingers and stick them like that and push it in like that. You'd have to be trying to get an electric shock to do it with these. But anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. That's a modern safety plug. That's that's a vintage safety plug. If you look here, now it's got, you seen that? Basically you have a little Bakelite protector, so if you get hold of it you can't actually touch anything. But as it plugs in, the sprung loaded and they push down. Now aren't those awesome? I've never ever come across a plug quite like. It's a real shame it's got a chunk out of it there. I might even make some 2-pack epoxy up and make that up, because that's a lovely MK as well. It's a lovely plug to keep. So I've never ever seen one with that safety feature on like that before. So no matter what, that's going to be kept. Anyway, we'll use that and we'll plug it in. Switch on. Now on this radio, you actually pull the volume out to switch it on, like that. And we'll just give it a minute. Because obviously it's valve, so you do have to let it warm up. I think the dial light's not working in it. That is glass. I thought it was plastic at first, but it's not, it's glass. Yeah, obviously the dial light I think is gone. There we go.
When you look at the state of the leaderboard,
as you can see, it does. This is medium wave.
End of the back nine.
And it does.
For the last 6 months, he's been
absolutely phenomenal. And here's the problem. Listen.
Don't play. And having him back playing, I think in a way, he's dropped out of the championship.
Very microphonic.
It's been the best thing for him.
Now it's either it's got something that's very loose inside, or the IF cans are suffering from silver mica disease, which is basically they have a little silver mica capacitor inside some of the IF cans, and they have a high potential across them, and eventually they start breaking down, and basically you get symptoms like that. It's either that, or like I said, it's a loose connection. What we can actually do is plug it onto PU, which doesn't use the IF stage, because that's just basically using the amplifier. If you look, we don't get it. It was switching medium wave, FM. I don't think FM really works at all. Something's trying to come through on FM, but not really getting FM there at all. Medium wave. It does seem to work. The other thing, it's not. I was going to say it's not very loud, but you can't get a loud station on it. That's about it. Anyway, yeah. So we've obviously got some issues with it, but it is a fantastic looking radio. So I think we should see if we can get this thing working to its absolute maximum. So let's get that unplugged. It still has its original 2-core mains flex on it. This will have to be replaced because we need to put a, well, let's see actually, is it AC or AC/DC? Most of these later sets were AC only with a proper transformer. Let's see what it says. Yeah, it's AC only, so hopefully we've got a proper mains transformer in there, in which case we can earth the chassis. And we'll put a proper nice 3-core double insulated flex on it, because this is only single insulated. This really isn't up to standard nowadays. So it looks like someone's put their own aerial on it. I don't know whether the person that gave me this did that, or that's been on there for a long time. It does look like it might have been on there for a very long time actually. Right, let's get a screwdriver and we'll get the back off, and we'll see what we will see what we find inside. Right. Let's have a look. No, that's not good. I think we have to do a little bit of work. Yeah, I think someone stripped the wood out for that screw, or it's the wrong screw. No, it looks like it's the original. Let's see what we've got inside here. Well, we can tell what we use here. We've got ECC85, so that's for your FM front end. ECH81, EBF89 and ECL82. So it's 4 valves. I can't see a rectifier valve on there, so I guess we've got solid state rectification in there. So that'll need looking at. We'll see if it's got a selenium rectifier in there. It probably has. Let's have a look. Right. Well, it seems to be nicely made. Nice little speaker there. I believe that's the manufacturer actually, EI. Yeah, EI, Yugoslavia. We're set to, it's dual voltage, either 110 volts or 220 volts. So we may have to look at something because there's a chance that we are slightly over voltaging this in the UK. I presume this, like I said, these were generally sold in the UK, but I just don't think people really cared about it so much back then. They were cheap sets. And now all our regs weren't quite what they are nowadays. You could get away with a lot more back in the day. I think people were a little bit more sensible back in the day as well. You know, they wouldn't stick their fingers in the back of a radio, get an electric shock, and then sue someone. They think they were a dozy bugger for sticking their fingers in the back of a radio. Ow! Right, so let's see if we can get the chassis out. Have I missed some screws? I took one out there and one out there. I wonder if we have to take this cardboard off as well. I wonder if there's a screw or two hidden behind that. Oh, I will say, if I scream out in pain, by the way, please don't be alarmed. I trapped a nerve in my shoulder a few days back, and it's still not right yet. Well, yeah, it seems like he has. There's quite a few capacitors been changed in here, I can see. I can't say it looks a horrendous job either. It doesn't look bad at all. Let's get the chassis out and then we can have a proper look at it anyway. No, so I've trapped a nerve in my shoulder. I'm basically dosing myself up on Panadol at the moment to try and keep the pain at bay. It's I have a dodgy shoulder anyway. I damaged it quite severely many years ago, and it does have a tendency to dislocate. And I'm wondering whether it's dislocated a little bit while I was asleep, and when it's gone back and it's caught the nerve or something. I'll have to go. If it doesn't go better by next week, I will have to go and see a doctor or something. But I don't really like seeing doctors, I must admit that. Anyway, I wonder if we can get this to disconnect. No, I think what we'll have to do for the moment is just sit the cabinet off to one side like that, and we can have a look at the chassis. Yes, it does use a selenium rectifier. If we have a look, we have a contact cooled selenium rectifier down there, AC in at the bottom, our DC out's there, so we can, plus there, negative down there, and our AC is across that side there. So we can check, see what we've got HT coming out of this thing. A nice mains transformer there, so we can certainly replace that nasty old flex with a nice modern safe 3-core mains cable. Oh, have I got any in stock? That's the point. I do know I need to order some more mains flex. I'll have to have a hunt around and see if I've got a suitable piece. I'm not 100% sure I've got a piece that'll be long enough in stock. I may have to order another spool of it. If you're buying cable, by the way, for things like this, whatever you do, don't go to B&Q and buy it, because 5 metres will cost you about 15 quid, and for 20 quid you can buy 50 metres. It really is a rip-off from places like B&Q, any of the big DIY places. Go online, CPC, Farnell's, somewhere like that, and buy a full reel of it. Like a 50 metre reel will cost you about 20 quid. If you go to one of the DIY centres, about 5 metres will cost you about 15 quid. Anyway, let's have a little look-see underneath this thing. And we'll see what this chap's well, it's a chap or chapess' work is actually like. I don't know if you can see in there. I don't know how well this is coming out, but we've got some capacitors been changed down there, and quite a nice job seems to have been made of it. It doesn't actually look like it's a bodge job. I mean, it's a PCB down there. It's not point to point on this thing, and yeah, I mean the capacitors are fairly modern, generic PCB mount types, but it seems like a fairly nice, neat job's been made of installing them. That one's a bit on the floppy side, but they don't look bad. They've been changed. There's a bit of paper seems to be being cremated down there. We'll have to get that out. The valves all look like they may be original. We are off, aren't we? We're disconnected. I think this will be the output valve. That seems like it may have been run very, very, very hot. If you look, you see all that that is the sign of a valve. It doesn't say there's anything wrong with the valve, but it does. They are basically signs that this valve has had a very, very, very hard life. So I think we'll definitely be testing the valves in this thing just to make 100% sure that they are okay. And these valve holders that are used in this are, well, I don't usually swear on my channels, but they are absolute shite. They are crap. It could indeed be that is the cause of our problem, and it's actually the valve holders that are causing all the noise. In which case, I do think I have something far better that we could possibly install in here. Again, I've never heard that. RNW Nehos. Possibly, obviously, probably of Russian descent. That it's an EBF89. Again, I think we will test all the valves in this. Let's put that back in. And again, we have so Yugoslavia EI. We know the valves will have at least a bit some life in them, because obviously it is actually the valve holder down there looks terribly burnt and cremated. I think we may be doing a valve holder swap in this thing. So it's probably going to be part 1 of part 2. I don't think this is going to be a quick little restore, but it is such a lovely little radio. So it's very neat, very compact. It's got a tape and phono input on it as well, which is quite nice. Let's just spin this round. There's our dial bulb. Let's pop that out and see if it's blown or whether it just needs tightening. Well, pop it out as far as we can. Let's have a look at the bulb. Ow. I'll get my meter and test that. Where's my meter gone? Where has my other meter gone? Meter, where have you gone? It's bloody typical this. You tidy the workshop and then you can't find half your tools. Yeah, where on earth has my main test meter gone? I'll have to dig another one out. Ow. There we go. This will do. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, just anything with continuity on it will do for this job. Put that in common. Put that in there. This really is a cheap crap meter, but it should do for what we want. Yeah, that'll prove it. See if the bulb is actually of any good. Oop. We'll try that again. Hold that like that. No, so that's gone. Let's see if we've got a replacement for that. What voltage is it? What does it say on the back, doesn't it? Oh, 7 volts, 300 milliamps. I've got a 6.5 volt, I think. It's going to slightly overvolt it, but I'll just perhaps stick a little resistor. A little resistor in there in time, just to drop a little bit of voltage off it. But it'll do, just to see if the can illuminate the dial. Screw that in and have a look. It's possibly why it's blown, actually, if someone replaced it years and years ago with a 6 volt. So for a little bit of a test, it shouldn't matter too much, it's only half a volt more. Right. Oh, last valve we want to have a quick look at is this one. So this is the FM front end, and we weren't really getting anything on FM. Now, well, that's a mullard. That's been replaced in the past, most likely, if you look. That's a UK. Oh, yeah, it actually is. It's British made. I mean, mullard, you did get foreign made, branded as mullard, but this is a British one. That's a double triode. Stick that back in there. That's our smoothing can up there. What have we got? 250 UF. So we will we'll check that. We'll possibly end up replacing that, being that it's probably not so a bit loose as well. What type of cap that is? Let's have a quick look underneath. Oh right. If you see that big nut there, it's one of the big screw nut on it to hold it down. These are the yeah, it's two, that's your ground, and that's 50 UF and 50 UF, so it's a dual can 50 UF cap. We could possibly replace that with just 247 UF standard 450 volt caps if we have to. Might be as well to do that, actually. Some more capacitors, as we mentioned before, replaced on the back. 0.68 UF, 250 volts. The problem I'm going to have with this radio is I don't know how easy it's going to be to get any service data on it, which means that I don't know whether all these caps that have been put in are the right value, because I don't have the original capacitors to check. I don't have the service data to see what capacitors were there and see if these are going to be suitable replacements. So I can only kind of like speculate that hopefully the person that worked on this before me did indeed put the correct capacitors in here. Now, with the way it's working on medium wave, there can't be too much wrong in that respect, I don't think. Because medium wave, apart from the horrible crackling, doesn't actually seem to work too bad. And with FM, again, it could be that valve that's bad. They don't last very long, the ECC85s, in relation to the rest of the valves in these sets. So there is a chance that that could be bad. What we will probably do, so we'll probably do that in the next video on this radio, is pull all the valves and we'll run them through on my valve tester, and we'll actually see whether they're all good or not. That'll be a good base to start on, because like I said, that ECC82 does look like it's been run horrendously hot. It's obviously had a hard life, so it would be as well just to check that and make sure that that is still happy. There does seem to be an awful lot. That doesn't look good down there at all. Let me just spin this radio over so I can see a bit better. I might have to take you off the old tripod and bring you in here, but I don't know if you can see this. The Now this is all round the output valve, that ECC82 that we've just talked about. And I don't know if you can make it out here, but all of the circuit board around here is basically carbonised. Is that track actually intact? I don't know if there's a track actually gone there. Hang on. Oh no, it is. It's okay. It's just covered, I think. Yeah, no, it looks alright. But all here, this is all carbonised. Look, there's a chance I can't actually repair this, unfortunately. After all this work. All this round here is heat damaged. And what happens with this, especially this really cheap Paxilin PCB material, it's basically paper and resin just in layers, is as it heats up, eventually it starts to carbonise, and when it carbonises it becomes conductive, and basically you get conductive paths across between valve pins, especially where you've got HT, so you've got a couple of 100 volts between 2 points like that, especially if you've got say 200 volts on there, and let's say that's a ground. What you're going to happen, you've only got a tiny little bit of insulation between them two, and with the heat and the fact this is carbonising, it's going to start tracking. And I think we've got a lot of tracking damage on here. This is a real shame, because I don't know what I'm going to be able to do to fix this. I have seen it in sets in the past, and what someone's done, they've took a Dremel and they've literally cut a piece of the board out like that that's infected, put a piece of circuit board over the top with the valve holder on it, and then point to point wired between them all to replace the bit of the board which is really badly carbonised. This is an absolute shame. I honestly don't know what I'm going to be able to do with this. It is actually really bad. So the copper's alright, but it's the actual PCB round it. It's literally just blackened. It's that badly carbonised. That is a real shame. I don't honestly know whether we're going to be able to do anything with this set or not, with how bad that carbonisation on there is. We're just going to run it out of its case. So I just want to perhaps tap a few things and see if we can actually identify exactly where the crackling's coming from. I have a feeling it may be one of them it's either going to be silver mica disease, and it's one of these IF cans which is the issue, or excuse me, an ouch, don't cough, ow, it's going to be that valve holder. I've got a horrible feeling. We'll look at it. Let's get it plugged back in and let's see if we can identify exactly where our crackling is coming from, and we'll take it from there. Switch back on. Obviously one hand now, one hand only. Let's switch on. And that dial light didn't light. So there's some other fault apart from that dial light's not lighting. Valves are warming up. Yeah, I can see the valve heaters coming. And that's a brand new bulb, so we've obviously got could be the valve holder itself. Apologies there, I did my usual and forgot to restart the camera. Anyway, yeah, so basically it does work, even FM. Even FM. I don't know if you just missed that. Let's just switch it back on for a minute. But we do have FM working. So all three channels, all three bands seem to actually work. Let's go back in there. There we go. Let's try one more.
was the...
Yeah, even FM, even long wave works, so all three bands work.
In the 1960s, 1970s, and this is...
Switch that off. Let's try a bit of switch cleaner to start off with. Let's give it a little bit of switch cleaner. Oh, where's my switch cleaner? Right. Let's make sure that's unplugged. Just get rid of that. Let's lay it on its back. And we're just going to try and get a little bit of switch cleaner into these contact switches here. Now some of these are easier to get your actual switch cleaner into than others. These ones, I think, we might have some success getting it in. There's the phono one on that side. There we go. And then we want to just give them a bit of a work. Let the switch cleaner do its job. Well, while we're here, let's see if we can get a bit of that into them. In fact, let's go and give it a proper lube. What we will do, it's all running out now all over my mat. I'll have to give that a clean up after. Where's my roll of kitchen paper gone? I've run out up here, haven't I? Oh, bloody hell. Ah, that'll do. I've got a cloth here, fibre cloth. Let's give that a quick. Yeah, I think I overdid it with the switch cleaner then. Good job this stuff evaporates fairly quickly. You can see it's going now. Right, I think what we'll do is we'll with that. I've just spotted another capacitor down there that hasn't been changed as well. Right in there, I think there's some capacitors in here which are going to be a pain in the backside to change. I wonder if that's why they've been... That valve doesn't feel right. That's been changed as well, that's a mullet. That wouldn't be original. That could be the fault. I don't know if you can pick this up, but you hear that? Now, valve should not sound like that. That's got something loose inside the valve. I'm sure of it. I wonder if I've got any spare ECL82s. In fact, just bear with me, folks. I'm just going to go down to my other stores and I'll see if I've got a spare ECL82 we can try in this thing. I'll be back in a pip. Well, unfortunately, it looks like I am completely out of ECL82s. I thought I did have a couple left in stock, but I must have used them. So I will, what I probably will end up doing, I will test these valves. We'll do this in the next video, I think, because quite frankly my painkillers are wearing off and I'm struggling a little bit now. So what we will do in the next video, I think, is test. But that I have a feeling that might be the problem. It is very, very microphonic. We will test the valves. If the valves are okay, we will possibly look at going further with this radio. If the valves are shot, unfortunately, because silver mica problem, because the circuit board is so carbonised down there, I honestly don't think it's probably going to be worth repairing. I don't think I'll scrap it. I'll probably keep it just as a display radio, to be honest, because it is lovely. And if one of these turns up with a really knackered case, I could probably pinch bits from the inside of it to get it good and up and running. It's too good to scrap. The case is so nice on it. Like I said, we'll do another video on this. We'll test the valves. If this set of valves are serviceable, we will probably look at I don't know what we're going to do about the carbonisation on the board there. We may look at some surgery. where we actually Dremel out the worst affected area of the board and make good. We'll see about that. That's all down to whether at least the other valves are alright. I mean, I could possibly fork out for a new one for that. ECC85s are getting a bit pricey. These are pricey. The damn shame is like the ECH82 and the what's that? Is that a EBF89? A tenner penny, and I've got stocks and stocks of both new and good tested ones. So either of them's not an issue. I do have ECC85s as well in stock. I've got plenty of them. Well, not plenty of them. I've got a few of them, and they're good. But unfortunately, like I said, ECL82. I thought I might have a couple left. I haven't. I've used them. These tended to get used in some of the later record players and tape recorders. They weren't used that common in British radios, but these Eastern European ones seem to favour them for their output. Because basically you've got a triode pentode, so you've got a triode for your preamp section, and you've got your pentode output section in one glass envelope. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there for now for this. Like I said, it's a damn shame about how badly carbonised that PCB is down there. But in the next instalment of this, I think we will test the valves, and we will see whether we're going to take it any further from there. Like I said, it is, if the valves test okay and the valves are alright, or at least them valves are alright, and then I'll see what to do with that. I was going to say, could we possibly modify the circuit to use a cheaper, easier to obtain valve? It's a possibility. That is a possibility. We might be able to. I'm not sure what yet though. Yeah. So that is the RETRA, however you pronounce it. Like I said, AM/FM tube radio, Yugoslavian. Like I said, it's probably very late 60s, early 70s. So I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed that, and look out for a part 2. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.